Titanoboa vs King Kong. Who would win? Titanoboa was an enormous snake that lived in North America about 40 million years ago. It was one of the largest land predators of all time. So how would it fare against another giant, King Kong? Let's find out. Number 10. Size does matter. One look at these two animals makes it clear which is bigger. Of course, it's the snake. The Titanoboa reached lengths of over 50 feet and weighed more than 1,100 pounds. At its maximum length, it could swallow a full-grown human without any trouble. On the other hand, the King Kong species has a maximum height of 30 feet and weighs up to 6,000 pounds. So why does the size difference even matter here? Well, not only are we comparing a snake to an ape, but also two different weight classes. Since both of these animals are classified as giants, there will be no surprise factors when they face each other off. Each will know what it's up against. No, 9-speed demon. If you have ever seen a snake move, then you know they are quick. Some snakes can strike so fast that their prey doesn't even see it coming. While the Titanoboa wasn't the fastest snake that ever existed, it was still pretty quick. This is important since it will need to get to the Kong before the Kong gets to it. And don't forget, this snake was huge. It's not like it could just slither up to the Kong in a couple of seconds. With its massive size, the Titanoboa had to rely on its speed to catch prey. It couldn't just wait around for its meal to come to it. The snake had to hunt. So just imagine if it managed to ambush something that was much larger than it. But how fast exactly was the Titanoboa? Well, scientists believe that it could move at a speed of 25 miles per hour. For comparison, an African elephant can move at about 25 miles per hour. So the Titanoboa was pretty speedy. Number 8, reach around. The titans of boa constrictor would coil itself around its prey and squeeze until it couldn't move anymore. After that, the snake would open up its mouth and swallow the animal whole. But could it do this with a King Kong? Well, first it needs to reach the ape. Even though the titans of boa was 50 feet long, that didn't mean that its entire body could attack the King Kong. If the snake tried to coil around the ape, it could only use about 10 feet of its body. So first, it would have to go around the ape multiple times to restrain it. And don't forget that the ape would be fighting back. But the boa constrictor had a trick up its sleeve. It had super long fangs that were perfect for injecting venom into its prey. That means it could attack the Kong before it got close enough to coil around it. Then again, the Titanoboa wasn't venomous. Scientists say that modern-day snakes in the genus Titanoboa are descendants from the ancient snake, but over time they lost their deadly venom. So when the Titanoboa was alive, it would have to rely on its size and strength to subdue the Kong. But if it did manage to get close enough to the ape, it could wrap itself around it in no time. The snake's scales made it incredibly strong, so it would be able to hold its ground against the Kong's powerful arms. However, even though the Titanoboa was big, it might not have been as flexible as a modern-day snake. So wrapping itself around the Kong might not have been an easy task. 7. Bone crusher. The Titanoboa was a constrictor, meaning that it squeezed its prey to death instead of using its teeth. If the snake had teeth like a T-Rex or a megalodon, it might have been able to take down a King Kong. But unfortunately, its teeth weren't designed for piercing skin. Instead, they were designed for holding on to prey once it was brought down. They were backward-facing, so the prey couldn't gouge them out. But this meant that the Titanoboa would have trouble penetrating the Kong's thick hide. Modern-day snakes don't have teeth that are designed for killing, but rather for holding on to prey. So it's likely that the Titanoboa would have a hard time biting the King Kong, let alone piercing its skin. But if it did manage to bite the ape, it could inject venom into it. But like we said before, Titanoboa wasn't venomous. It's possible that its bite could draw blood, but the snake wouldn't be able to put the Kong to sleep with a single bite. Number 6. Bite force. The bite force of the Titanoboa is unknown, but it was probably similar to that of modern-day snakes in the genus. Scientists estimate that the Titanoboa had a bite force of between 800 and 1,000 psi. This isn't very strong compared to some other ancient creatures. For example, the Tyrannosaurus rex had a bite force of over 10,000 psi. But remember that the Titanoboa didn't need a strong bite force because it didn't eat other meat eaters. It ate animals that were already subdued. Its bite force was more than enough to pierce the skin of a crocodile, which is surprisingly tough. So even though the Kong's hide is thicker than that of a crocodile, it's possible that the Titanoboa could inflict damage with its teeth. Number 5. A big appetite. There's nothing like a good snake swallowing its prey whole. It's fascinating to watch as the snake slides the animal down its throat. But how would the Titanoboa handle swallowing a live Kong? Well, the answer depends on whether or not the Kong puts up a fight. If the snake manages to subdue the Kong, then it should be able to swallow it without any trouble. It's not like the snake would have to chew on the ape to digest it. It would simply slide it down its throat. But what if the Kong didn't go down without a fight? Well, that's where things could get messy. The snake's stomach would have to expand to accommodate the live Kong, and then it would have to try and push the animal down its throat. This would definitely be a challenge, but the Titanoboa was a giant snake. It was used to eating large prey, so it should be able to handle a live Kong. But what if the Kong started chewing on the snake while it was trying to swallow it? Well, that would definitely be a problem. The snake's stomach is very delicate, so it could easily be torn if the Kong got its teeth into it. Number 4. No air. When the Titanoboa constricted its prey, it would eventually stop breathing. When that happened, the snake would swallow the animal whole. But what if the Titanoboa tried to constrict a live King Kong? Well, the ape wouldn't be able to breathe either, but it would have a much harder time staying under the water. It's likely that the Kong would panic and thrash around, which would make it even harder for the Titanoboa to keep it underwater. Eventually, the Titanoboa would have to let go of the Kong so it could surface for air. Once the ape was out of the water, it could easily escape and live to fight another day. 3. The ape hates snakes. Everyone knows that apes are afraid of snakes. It's a common sight to see an ape freak out when it sees a snake. So if a Kong saw a Titanoboa heading its way, it would definitely run away. The ape would climb up a tree and stay out of the snake's reach. The Titanoboa would be unable to climb trees, so it would be forced to slither around at the base of the tree. It would coil itself up and wait for the Kong to come down. But when the Kong did come down, it would attack the snake and beat it to death. No. 2. Human help. Let's be honest, the Titanoboa wouldn't stand a chance against the Kong in the wild. There's too much vegetation that the ape could use to hide in. But if the Titanoboa fought the Kong in an open area, it would be in trouble. Not only would it have nowhere to hide, but it would also be easy prey for the Kong. However, the Titanoboa might have a chance if humans were involved. After all, humans are the ones who discovered the fossil remains of the ancient snake. They have studied it and figured out how big it was and how it lived. So it's thanks to humans that the Titanoboa has a chance at redemption. If humans were around when the Titanoboa was alive, it's likely that it would have been hunted down and killed. But if humans helped the Titanoboa fight the Kong, then the snake would have a much better chance of winning. Humans could distract the ape and give the Titanoboa a chance to strike. Or they could help the Titanoboa restrain the Kong so it wouldn't be able to escape. No. 1. The Kong's home turf. The Titanoboa was a North American snake, so it would have been out of place in a jungle. This would give the Kong an advantage because it's much more familiar with its surroundings. The Titanoboa would be clumsy and slow, which would make it easy prey for the Kong. The ape would simply dodge the snake's attacks and then strike back when the Titanoboa least expected it. So who would win in a fight between a Titanoboa and a King Kong? Well, it's tough to say. Both animals are incredibly powerful and could definitely take the other one down. But if we had to choose a winner, we would have to go with the Titanoboa. It was simply bigger and stronger than the Kong, and it's unlikely that the ape could defeat the snake. But what do you think? Who would win in a fight between a Titanoboa and a King Kong? Let us know in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. Thanks for watching. See ya!